Good morning, everybody. It is May 1st at 10:30 in the morning, and we're actually driving through Dogman country right now. I've got a project out here to deal with. But speaking of that and stuff, I mean, the North Woods of Idaho is a very dangerous place, okay? And you know, not just on like the superstitious side and stuff of things, you know, because we've got a plethora of things up here that is just out of the norm. And I keep, you know, mentioning to other researchers, you know, because they ask me about my area that I research, and I'm like, it might as well be another Bermuda Triangle. It's so wild, or another Alaskan Triangle. Like, there's so much weird stuff that happens out here, but that's not what I'm actually here to talk about today. In fact, the most dangerous thing that we have out here in the woods is other people. And I've lived in the woods.
New text message from +120.
Stop that. But I've had run-ins with quite a few people out in the woods under some very, very dangerous circumstances. When I was really little, my mother had taken myself and my two brothers up to a place that was an old swimming hole, and it had like a little waterfall to it and everything. It was just a really neat place. Well, we ended up getting followed in there by a group of skinheads. And that's what we call them. We call them skinheads up here and stuff, because they're the neo-Nazis that are, you know, all for, you know, one breed, and it's the white race only, and everything else needs to die, basically. And there is a very hardcore group that is up here, and as far as I know, still active too. They ended up surrounding us, and a very dear friend of my family, who is now passed, actually saved our lives that day, because one of them had approached with a baseball bat, and he got in the way of them, and he subdued the man with the baseball bat, took the baseball bat, and then continued to beat the rest of them with it. And of course nobody died or anything like that, but that man saved our lives that day. And that was just the first run-in. The second crazy run-in I had was actually at my house out in the woods, and it was just me and my wife. She was just my girlfriend at the time. And somebody tried breaking into our house in the middle of the night, and it was probably about 2 in the morning, actually. And my bedroom was right next to the front door and stuff, so I could hear him. My wife actually woke me up first, and she was like, I can hear somebody trying to get into the house. I'm sitting there listening and stuff, and then I peek out the window, and sure enough, there's a guy trying to pick the lock and everything. And so I pulled out my gun, because you can't trust anybody out here. And I waited at that front door, and he finally unjimmied that lock. He successfully picked the lock, and I was right there waiting for him, and that door came flying open, and that barrel went straight up to his forehead, and he's got a ring right there from it and everything, because I just poked him right in the forehead and had some choice words for him. And of course, he's sitting there and just in panic mode at this point. He just froze and stuff, because this was not what he was expecting, obviously. And he told me that he was drunk, and he was, but he was honest about that. He told me he was intoxicated, and he was dropped off out in the middle of nowhere because he had gotten into an argument with his friend that was giving him a ride, and he had no idea where he was, and he was looking for a place to sleep. Now, he had already successfully broken and entered my house. At that point, of course, I'm not going to just let him stay in my house and everything. He actually asked if he could stay on my porch even, and I said no. Now, as a Christian, I'm still supposed to take care of this guy. And so instead of what I did is I grabbed an old army coat. Now, mind you, he was not allowed to, he did not move. I did not allow him to move and everything. I sat there and I kept the gun on him the whole time because I don't know this man. I don't know his intentions. I mean, he just broke and entered my house, you know, and my truck is parked outside. Obviously, somebody is home and intoxicated. Obviously, he just didn't care and stuff. So, you know, and drunk people, I used to be a bartender. Drunk people are very, very unpredictable. You have no idea how they're going to react. I actually almost got punched one night just for offering a glass of water. Okay? A lot of people take that as an insult, I guess. But anyways, what I did is I sent my wife to go grab an old army coat that I had in the closet that was just never used. Like, nobody in the family used it. It was about his size, maybe a little on the small side, but it was still something, you know. And what I did was I told him exactly how to get back to town, told him exactly where he was, and then I warned him. I said, you go up to any other house and you try this nonsense, don't think that they're going to be just as kind as I am here. Meanwhile, I'm holding a gun on him, okay? So, I gave him a coat. I sent him on his way. I told him where town was, how to get there, and never saw him again. And there was no police reports of any missing people or anybody wound up dead or anything like that. I'm more than absolutely certain the guy made it back home safe. The third time, which was the last time, I ran into a whole group of poachers. And they meant business too, because we heard the gunshot. It was elk season. Threading the needle. It was elk season. We heard the gunshot, and we go up. We come out of the woods. We announce that we're coming, and then all we could hear was, man, that was the biggest buck I have ever seen in my life and everything, and can't believe that we can't find him and stuff. And we're like, it's a buck. That's out of season right now and everything. And then some of the guys started getting a little nervous about us being there. And one of them was like, well, I'm going to head to higher ground, so see ya. And he bailed immediately and stuff. And then after that, yeah, hi, Karma. After that, I had my AR on me the whole time. There was like 5 or 6 of those guys too. But I had my AR on me the whole time. Which is why I think that they didn't make a move. And I was still in the Navy at that time, and I was a gunner's mate too, so I was very, very accurate with my rifle. And very aware of the situation and how to handle it and not letting anybody flank us or anything like that. And yeah, luckily we all went our separate ways and everything, but we made a report and they ended up finding them. Yeah, the woods out here is not a joke. And the majority of the problems out here are from people. So take it how you will, but I got to get to work. God bless you guys and stay squatchy.